Forget the housewives, forget the Kardashians. If you want true wealth, power, and drama that changed the entire world, you have to go back to Florence, Italy, in the 1400s. I'm talking about the Medici family. They weren't just rich, they invented being rich. They were history's first reality stars, ruling from the shadows and throwing parties that birthed the Renaissance. They weren't kings or emperors, they were bankers. They built the largest bank in Europe, funding wars and financing popes. How much money did they have? Well, they funded the entire Renaissance. Cosimo de' Medici, the original patriarch, basically treated Florence as his personal country club. He gave loans to royalty and then waited for the interest to roll in. They perfected the art of subtle control. Everyone owed the Medicis. Everyone. Cosimo understood that true power wasn't a crown. It was patronage. If the church owes you money, and every artist in Europe needs your cash to buy clay or marble, you are untouchable. He literally paid for Brunelleschi's dome and paid for the greatest artworks of the era. He wasn't just a rich guy who liked art. He created the art world as we know it. Think of him as the ultimate venture capitalist of culture. Then you have Lorenzo the Magnificent, the breakout star. Handsome, charismatic, a poet, and a ruthless politician. Lorenzo treated the Renaissance like one giant, never-ending house party. He brought Michelangelo into his home as a teenager. But these parties weren't just for fun. They were networking events. He was surrounded by genius. You wanted a commission? You needed to get on Lorenzo's guest list. Of course, all this glamour led to major drama, like the rival Pazzi family trying to assassinate him in a church. That's how you know you've made it, when rival families try to take you out during Sunday Mass. This is where the rich people problems come in. These guys funded brilliance. They were paying for Michelangelo's studio, his apartment, probably even his dental plan. And what did they get in return for all that power and cash? Sometimes they got ripped off. Can you imagine funding the most important art movement in history, only to get a fresco of the one courtier who keeps showing up to your banquets and complaining about the buffet? That's the Renaissance equivalent of being the ultimate patron saints of, the check is in the mail. They owned culture, but they still couldn't control the haters. The Medicis proved that power and money are fleeting, but great art lasts forever. They eventually lost control, but their legacy, the entire foundation of Western art and banking, is their real empire. If you want to dive deeper into these Renaissance billionaires and find out which artist was the biggest gossip, hit that like button. And what other rich, dramatic, historical family should we turn into a reality show? Let me know in the comments. Don't forget to subscribe for more content.